You know that feeling when it's like 11 p.m., you finally close your laptop, put your phone in another room, and you lie down to just, exist for a minute.
Oh, yeah.
But your brain is still just sort of vibrating. Like you close your eyes and you can almost feel the phantom Slack
Are the
pings.
emails piling up?
Exactly. The emails, the feed refreshing. It's wild.
It's a very real, very physical sensation. I mean, even when the devices are entirely out of the room, the rhythm of them is, it's still running right through your nervous system.
And it's not just a phantom buzz either. It's this creeping underlying anxiety that by stepping away, you're, I don't know, missing a critical update or something. That
Yeah.
by simply pausing to go to sleep, you're somehow falling behind a wave that never actually stops breaking.
Yeah, and we usually write this off as just personal burnout.
Literally.
Yeah.
But today, in this deep dive, we're going to look at the actual architecture of that feeling. We're going to calmly and analytically examine the modern world's operating system.
What we can basically call the civilization OS.
Right, the Civilization OS. And we have some fascinating source material today that completely shifts the paradigm on this. Because the thesis here isn't that the world is broken or collapsing.
No, not at all.
It's that it's a world that continues to function, but is gradually losing its ability to return.
And right out of the gate, I think we need to establish a very clear baseline for this deep dive.
Please do.
We are not here to push some doom-laden narrative about how society is collapsing. And we are absolutely not here to blindly praise or, condemn artificial intelligence.
Right, no panic today.
Exactly. This is a high-level structural observation. Think of it like looking at the blueprints of the modern world. We are looking at a system that continues to function perfectly well on the surface.
But is gradually losing its ability to return to a baseline state of rest.
Precisely. It's an operating system that has essentially, deleted the undo button.
Deleted the undo button. I like that. But okay, that brings up my first big point of skepticism from the sources.
Sure, lay it on me.
When I hear about this, global inability to rest, my immediate instinct is to roll my eyes a little bit and think, okay, come on, we're all just tired.
Right. It's been a long few years.
Exactly. People just need to take a vacation. Are we overcomplicating just basic human exhaustion here?
It's a really fair question.
Huh.
But if we look at the structural reality of how our systems are currently built, according to the sources, this inability to disconnect is not a psychological failing.
Okay, so it's not just me needing a nap.
No, it's a hardwired condition of a highly synchronized civilization. In this operating system, speed is no longer just a competitive advantage that you can opt into.
Right.
It has become a baseline condition for survival.
But wait, wasn't the whole promise of advanced technology, and especially AI, supposed to be the exact opposite of that?
Oh, you mean the classic utopian vision?
Yeah. We were promised the 15-hour work week. We were told automation would take over all the busy work so we could finally slow down.
That was definitely the narrative, yeah. But look at the evidence across our major sectors right now. In the AI and tech markets, falling behind on an update cycle isn't just viewed as a missed opportunity.
It's treated as an existential risk.
Exactly. A company that pauses to, evaluate its progress risks being entirely obsolete in 6 months.
Wow.
And on a corporate strategy level, when faced with uncertainty, the default action is continuation and acceleration, never pausing to assess.
Never pausing. Yeah.
Even on a geopolitical level, nations prioritize maintaining constant connection to global data grids over any form of withdrawal or isolation.
And it trickles down to the individual layer too, right? Like the social media platforms we use every single day.
Oh, absolutely. They are fundamentally designed to demand immediate reaction.
The like, the share, the outrage.
Right. They prioritize that immediate reaction over silence or contemplation.
Even our education systems now require rapid, continuous updates just to keep a person relevant in the labor market.
Yeah, so the mandate to stay engaged is purely structural. You are operating within a system that assumes continuous motion.
It's like we've all been on a fast treadmill for a while. We all know what that feels like. But now we're looking down at the console and realizing the stop button has been completely pried off.
That is a perfect visualization. It's not just that the treadmill is fast. It's that getting off is no longer an engineered option.
Right.
There is a specific concept for this in the source material. A loss of phase liquidity.
Phase liquidity, like in chemistry.
Yeah, exactly. Like in physics or chemistry. A system needs space and fluidity to change phases, like from a liquid to a gas or whatever.
Okay, I follow.
In our context, the space required to resynchronize, just catch your breath, to transition from active to resting, that space is shrinking.
It's just disappearing.
Yeah, civilization isn't approaching a catastrophic crash. It is approaching a state of reconnection inability.
Reconnection inability, meaning you can't reconnect with the system because you are never allowed to fully disconnect from it in the first place.
You nailed it.
But wait, if my biological body physically requires sleep and this OS requires constant engagement, something has to give, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Why does this speed mismatch feel so jarring physically and mentally?
Well, this is where we run into a really crucial mechanism from the sources called shear.
Shear, like wind shear in meteorology,
Yeah.
or tectonic plates.
Very similar, yeah. In engineering, shear stress happens when two parallel layers of a material are pushed in opposite directions or when they move at drastically different speeds.
Oh, and the friction between them creates immense internal tension.
Exactly. In our societal space right now, we have two distinct layers existing simultaneously, and the speed mismatch between them is creating a structural, civilizational shear.
Okay, so on one side we have the fast layers.
Right.
This is global finance, algorithmic trading, AI data processing, the social platforms.
Everything digital, weightless, and instantaneous.
And on the other side, we have the slow layers.
Yeah, and these are fundamentally grounded in biological and physical reality.
The human body.
The body, local physical communities, our care systems,
Yeah.
the slow, messy process of raising a child or, getting an education.
Just the basic mundane rhythms of everyday life.
Precisely. And the logic governing these two layers is entirely opposed.
Right, because the fast layers operate on the rigid logic of if we stop, we lose.
Exactly. If the algorithm stops trading, the hedge fund loses millions. If the server goes down, the platform loses users.
But the slow layers, our human bodies, our minds, our families, they operate on the exact opposite logic.
Which is,
If we do not stop, we break.
yes. That is the core conflict right there. We are trying to run mutually incompatible speeds on the exact same societal hardware.
That is wild. Think about like a delivery driver or a warehouse worker who is managed by an algorithmic scheduling system.
A perfect example.
The algorithm is a fast layer. It calculates efficiency down to the absolute second, treating the human worker as an always available API endpoint.
Right. It didn't factor in a tired muzzle.
Or a bathroom break, or a moment of distraction.
And that friction is the shear. The fast layer demands constant optimization and instant response.
While the slow layer literally requires delay. It needs biological margins and time to wait for physical recovery.
Yeah, and it creates a literal time phase rupture in reality itself.
Which naturally makes me wonder, if the slow layers are under this much tension and human beings are literally breaking under the shear, why aren't we seeing massive collective withdrawals?
Why hasn't everyone just thrown their smartphones in the ocean and moved to the woods?
Yeah. If the system is this painful, why is society so relatively quiet?
Because the cost of withdrawal has become too high. This is why we see this eerie silence across society.
Wow, so the lack of rebellion isn't a sign of peaceful adaptation.
Not at all. People haven't just evolved to handle the speed. The silence is the result of the sheer economic and social danger of pulling the plug.
Right, because if you throw your phone away, you can't authenticate your bank account.
Exactly. You miss the text from your boss and you lose your shift.
You disconnect from the grid and you literally lose your health insurance. It's just too expensive to refuse the fast layer.
So what do people do?
They don't withdraw.
No, they simply stay connected while utterly exhausted.
They stay connected while exhausted. Man, I think everyone listening just felt a pang of recognition with that phrase.
Yeah, and there's a highly specific biological term in the source text that maps perfectly onto this condition: chronic depolarization.
Chronic depolarization. Okay, unpack that for us.
Let's look at how a cell works, like a neuron in your brain, for example.
Okay.
For a neuron to fire to act, to send a signal, it undergoes an electrical shift called depolarization.
It discharges its energy.
Exactly. But after it fires, it must repolarize. It needs a tiny, tiny fraction of a second of absolute rest to reset its electrical charge before it can fire again.
Oh, I see where this is going.
Right. If a cell is chronically depolarized, it is stuck in an intermediate state. It can't return to baseline to rest, but it also doesn't have the energy to fire a new, strong signal.
It's just stuck on, but with no actual power behind it. It's just humming.
Precisely. As a society, we are trapped in this intermediate state. We can't return, we can't rest, we can't get off the ride.
But we aren't definitively broken or collapsed yet either.
Exactly. We are just endlessly functioning in a state of continuous depletion. This exhaustion without collapse is spreading globally.
So naturally, my brain goes to, how do I fix me?
Right, the self-improvement angle.
Yeah. Like, if I feel chronically depolarized, my default setting is to blame my own lack of discipline. I tell myself I need better time management.
You need to download a focus app.
Try the Pomodoro technique or go on a strict digital detox weekend. I assume I am the one failing the system.
And this is where the source material says we need to completely reframe that instinct. This is absolutely not a lack of human ability or discipline.
It's not.
No. What we are experiencing is an OS incompatibility. The burden belongs to the structure, not the individual.
It's an OS incompatibility.
Yeah, the global high-speed OS assumes an always connectable subject. It assumes you are a node on a network that can be optimized.
That I'll provide an immediate response to an input.
Right, and that you are constantly visible and available for continuous updates.
But human beings are intrinsically intermittent. Like, we pulse. We aren't a continuous stream of data.
Yeah. No, we aren't.
We wake up and we go to sleep, we hyper-focus, and then we daydream. We engage with the world, and then we need to retreat from it.
Yes, exactly. Human life membranes require what the fast OS considers to be, inefficiencies.
Wow.
We require delay, we require silence, we require unstructured space and time spent waiting for recovery.
But because the system demands constant connection, we have successfully maintained that connection. But we've done so at the profound cost of our reconnectability.
Exactly.
Wait, I thought being connected was the whole point. What is the distinction there between connection and reconnectability?
Well, connection is simply the state of being plugged in. You are online, the emails are coming through, the feed is scrolling. You are a passive recipient of the current.
Okay. And reconnectability?
Reconnectability is the active capacity to step away, wander, rest, and then consciously choose to plug back in with renewed energy and a fresh perspective.
Ah, I get it.
The fast OS demands permanent connection, which slowly atrophies your capacity to ever truly disconnect and reconnect on your own terms.
It's the difference between holding a 20-pound weight indefinitely until your arm starts trembling and eventually just gives out,
Yeah.
versus doing reps where you actively lift the weight but then put it back on the rack to rest your muscles. The fast OS demands we just hold the weight forever.
Which is exactly why those productivity hacks you mentioned earlier just don't work.
They don't.
A Pomodoro timer or a focus app is really just a trick to help you hold that heavy weight a little longer.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve the fundamental operating system incompatibility.
It just makes you a slightly more efficient node in a system that is still wearing you down.
Exactly.
Okay, well, if I can't hack my way out of it with a better to-do list, and we obviously can't uninvent global finance, AI, and algorithmic routing, what are we supposed to do?
It's the million-dollar question.
Like, how do we live inside a shear zone without breaking?
Well, the sources make it clear there are no simplistic overnight fixes. You cannot just flip a master switch and turn off the modern world.
Right.
But we can start building what the authors call pause tolerance and liquid stability.
Liquid stability, meaning not the rigid, brittle stability of a concrete wall that shatters under pressure,
Right.
but the stability of water. Water can absorb an impact, flow around an obstacle, and maintain its nature. Multi-phase coexistence.
That's a really great way to visualize it. It's about deliberately designing systems that allow for multiple speeds, multiple phases, to exist simultaneously without destroying one another.
Okay.
And doing this requires a massive shift in how we view the slow layers of our society.
Think about the things we've defined as slow layers today. Our local community centers, offline hobbies, taking time to care for an aging parent,
The concept of a weekend.
or even just sitting in silence. Historically, especially in modern economic terms, we view these things as welfare. We view them as nice-to-haves.
Right, we fund them or support them when there's leftover capital. They're considered luxuries of a successful system rather than the foundation of it.
But if we apply this new paradigm, these slow layers can no longer be viewed merely as welfare. They have to be elevated to a completely different status.
They must be elevated to the status of civilization's resynchronization infrastructure.
Resynchronization infrastructure, that completely changes the math.
It really does.
Because we think of infrastructure as bridges, power grids, and fiber optic cables. If a bridge collapses, commerce stops. But you're saying that a functioning local community or a societal margin for rest is just as structurally critical as a highway.
It is arguably more critical right now. If the fast OS is the engine driving us forward at breakneck speed, These slow layers are the cooling systems, the shock absorbers.
Wow.
They are the actual foundational mechanisms that allow the people inside the vehicle to survive the trip. Without them, the engine overheats and melts down.
So caregiving, local community, unplugged silence, these are not weaknesses or economic inefficiencies.
No, they are the structural requirements for a civilization to not just survive its own acceleration, but to maintain its humanity while doing so.
So to summarize our deep dive today, we aren't failing to keep up because we are lazy or broken.
Definitely not.
We are grappling with a profound OS incompatibility. The physical and mental tension we feel every day is the sheer between a digital world that must never stop and a biological reality that breaks if it doesn't.
Yeah.
And what we are learning is that the ultimate survival of our civilization doesn't actually depend on keeping pace with AI. It depends on our ability to aggressively protect and preserve our slow layers.
Absolutely. And, there is a really intriguing concept in the sources regarding how we navigate information in this environment, drawing from a framework called LMOS v2.0.
Oh yeah, LMOS v2.0, what does that say about this?
It looks specifically at the media and data we consume and suggests that engaging with certain types of media can actually be a form of structural resistance.
How so? Like watching a documentary instead of a viral video.
It's about the speed and format of the engagement. The framework suggests that the very act of taking the time to listen to a deep dive dialogue like this one, engaging in what they term a low-speed contact layer, is an act of cognitive cooling.
Cognitive cooling, I love that.
Yeah.
Just by sitting here, letting the audio breathe, listening to a nuanced 15-minute conversation, instead of swiping through a dozen 15-second hot takes that demand immediate emotional reaction.
Exactly. In a world characterized by high-speed synchronization and reactive meaning-making, choosing an unstructured exploratory space with cognitive margins is an act of preserving your own internal pause tolerance.
Oh, wow.
By seeking out a space that doesn't demand your immediate reaction, you are actively practicing your ability to step off the fast layer. You are exercising your reconnectability. You are maintaining the slow layer within yourself.
So just by participating in this slow, deliberate exploration with us today, you are pushing back against the sheer. You are finding a margin.
That's the idea.
So as you go back out into that high-speed world, as you eventually pick up the phone or open the laptop and feel that phantom buzzing start to return to your nervous system, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
And it's a profound one.
Perhaps the question is no longer how fast we can become, but how much of our ability to return can still be preserved.